Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlin Perkins and Jim Fowler. For more than 50 years, Wild Kingdom explored wildlife and our natural world. Tonight's episode, and many others, focus on the timeless value of wildlife conservation. Wild Kingdom played a critical role in changing public attitudes about the importance of animals for the health of our planet and our own quality of life. We challenge viewers to learn about animals and get involved in conservation in their local communities. That call to action resulted in more visits to local zoos, nature preserves, and even observing animals in their natural habitats. And that connection with animals benefits all of us in the Wild Kingdom. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom right here on RFD-TV.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. It's Mutual of Omaha, the people who pay.
Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. On the tiny Indian Ocean island of Komodo lives the largest and most ferocious lizard in the world, the Komodo monitor. Sometimes reaching a length of over 10 feet, this dangerous reptile is the closest living link to the dinosaurs. It has aptly been nicknamed the Komodo dragon and is presently the subject of research by a team of scientists under the auspices of the New York Zoological Society. Recently, Tom Allen and I were invited to assist in the capture of some of these animals for study. We observed these huge lizards both on land and in the sea. To capture them safely, we used capture sticks and a very effective but simple box trap that was baited with goat meat and fish. When the lizard sticks his head in the trap to get the bait, he is snared by 2 rope nooses which are pulled, one from each side. Our journey began at the Indonesian island of Bali, here, and after a 2-day voyage of 450 miles, we arrived here at Komodo Island, the land of the giant dragon. With our steamer, the Damara, at anchor, Tom and I head for Komodo Island in a skillfully handled prow. There on shore is the leader of our expedition, and also there, rather unexpectedly, one of the Komodo dragons. He's probably returning after swimming to one of the little islands off Komodo's shore. We'll have plenty of time for closer observations soon. Right now, we're approaching the shore of what many people are convinced is one of the world's most inhospitable islands. A blanket of heat envelops us as we leave the prow and step ashore with our gear. Our leader is the world's foremost authority on Komodo monitors, Dr. Walter Offenberg of the Florida State Museum. He'll show us the work he's doing here for the New York Zoological Society. He invites us to follow him to his nearby camp. It's already over 100 degrees, and the ground is hard, dry, and very stony inland. Working beside the big camp tent are Dr. Offenberg's assistants, to whom we're introduced. First is Howard Converse, laboratory technician, also of the Florida State Museum. Next, we meet zoologist Putra Sastrawan of the University in Bali. While Dr. Offenberg and I prepare to head for the trapping site, Howard tells Tom about the research already done on the lizards during their operations here. As a safety measure, we inform the others where we're going and leave them to continue their discussion. Dr. Offenberg says Komodo dragons are cannibals and younger lizards try to escape the adults by climbing trees. He spotted one now. It's about 4 or 5 feet long, and through my glasses I can see its powerful claws. Dr. Offenberg says those claws are not only well adapted for climbing, but are also weapons that can scratch savagely and cause severe infection. As we continue walking, he adds that the largest Komodo monitors prowling these bleak slopes are about 10 feet long. They kill and eat adult deer, pigs, occasionally water buffalo, and sometimes even men. They're found only here on Komodo and its neighboring islands of Padar, Flores, and Rincha. Thus restricted, they could quickly be exterminated by man if not protected. We've now reached the point where we'll separate. I'm to head for the blinds, while Dr. Offenberg is checking on some potential trapping sites located earlier. Our blinds are situated in this more level area. While foliage is sparse here, it's wise to proceed cautiously and watch ahead. Komodo monitors like this one lunge from hiding to bite passing animals. However, they aren't the only hazards to those who walk about in this area. I've abruptly encountered a spitting cobra, a poisonous snake which squirts venom accurately at intruders' eyes, so I'll take no chances on being hit. The squirted venom striking a person's eyes causes permanent blindness, or in some cases, even death. The lenses on these binoculars may look enough like eyes to make this snake use its deadly skill. It worked. The snake finally became agitated enough to spit its venom. The venom hit the lenses with great accuracy and with a quantity great enough to blind dozens of eyes. It wouldn't be wise to linger in this angered snake's vicinity for very long, especially since they've been known to hit an intruder's eyes at distances as great as 10 feet. Not far from the blinds, I discover a wild pig, one of the Komodo monitor's favorite prey animals, but it vanishes quickly. Here are the blinds and the box trap. There's some pretty ripe fish meat in the box, and that's a chunk of goat carcass overhanging it. My approach may have frightened away any monitors that were here, so I'll wait quietly in this blind for a close-up look. There's a movement in the grass. One's returning. Strangely, they don't look so terribly dangerous. Here's another, and he's detected the fish bait. They seem unafraid, but not especially hungry. Here's a third one, and he's heading for the box trap. I want to see his reaction to the bait inside. He doesn't appear interested. They're small, but they'll be good for lab tests and tagging later on. They all seem rather wary now. Later, when they're hungry, their wariness may diminish, and we won't have any difficulty catching them. They're moving off now, but this is a good trap location, and I think we'll catch all the specimens we need right here. As I continued waiting in the blind, Tom and Putra set out to locate Komodo monitors swimming in the sea between the islands, hopeful of finding some previously banded by Dr. Offenberg.
Putra and I are heading for the beach, where we fired a local man to take us out in his prow. His young son, in the bow, will also be helping. We're hopeful of encountering one or two Komodo monitors swimming in the relatively calm water between here and a little island not far offshore. If I can catch one, and it turns out to be one of those already tagged, We'll try to bring it back to camp with us to check its growth since being tagged. In this way, Dr. Offenberg will have one more link for his growing chain of knowledge on the Komodo monitors. The smaller island ahead of us is often visited by monitors, which swim to it from Komodo without difficulty. The water is warm and clear, and when we see our first swimming lizard, I'll swim after it. We're lucky. It hasn't taken long to locate one, so this will be as good a place as any for us to stop. I'll take my belt knife along, since sharks often prowl these waters. Whatever diving I'll need to do here can be done with my snorkel and mask. Getting into this water after Komodo dragons doesn't appeal much to Putra. The lizard we saw briefly on the surface has gone down. I'll have to search the bottom. The lizards are not only good swimmers, but can hold their breaths for long periods. When threatened, they'll submerge to the coral below. Putra takes a position near the mast, where he can keep a watch for the monitor we're after, or any others that may appear. Right now, none are in sight, but Putra gives me the location where the one we saw submerged. The coral formations here are abundant and provide ideal habitat for numerous small fish, crustaceans, and other marine life. But so far, there's no sign of the monitor we're looking for. As always, the tropical marine landscape stretches out before me like a weirdly beautiful garden on some alien world. It's a quiet, awe-inspiring place that is hard to break away from, even when it's necessary to return to the surface for air. A movement below is only a small hawksbill turtle instead of the monitor. Still, it'll be interesting to see it closer up. This hawksbill turtle is probably no more than a few years old. As an adult, he'll weigh around 100 pounds. But it's time now to let it go and continue looking for the lizard. A little sand shark poses no threat. But just ahead of me, clinging to some coral, I can see the object of my search. He's evidently seen me as well and heads to the surface. Though strong swimmers, they're not terribly fast in the water, and there shouldn't be much difficulty in catching up to him. The Komodo dragons usually swim on the surface when they're traveling in earnest, and they never seem to tire. They've been observed miles from shore swimming like this. I've been trying to see if there's one of Dr. Offenberg's identification tags attached to this monitor's side. His movements in the water make it difficult to determine. It looks like I'll have to stop him to make sure. He's powerful and difficult to hold, but I have the advantage here under the water. I can't see any metal tag on this side of the lizard, nor any on this side either, so there's no need to take him back to the boat. It took longer than I anticipated to catch just the one swimming monitor, so there's not time to try for any others today. We'll have to return now to help rig the traps. It'll take the combined efforts of all of us to catch a big monitor on land.
As soon as Tom and Putra returned to the blind area, we got ready to capture, test, and tag a number of the Komodo monitors. Now that Dr. Offenberg, Putra, and Tom have arrived, there's no time wasted in getting the trap set. While Tom and Putra work on that, Dr. Offenberg and I will go to the field lab where Howard is waiting.
Marlin said that there have been a number of small to medium-sized monitors coming to the blind. We're going to be using 2 different nooses simultaneously to snag the monitor when it comes. That way, we'll be able to pin it between us. If caught with only one rope, the lizard might charge and very seriously bite the one holding the rope. That's a risk we can't afford to take.
Here at Howard's makeshift field lab, we're not far from Tom and Putra, and we'll hear them when they make a catch.
Already, the lizards have come to our carrion bait. Earlier, Putra explained why they come. Often, prey bitten by a Komodo monitor escapes, but it quickly dies from infection. Other lizards, like this one, are quick to find and eat it. Right now, there's a monitor coming in close. This may become our first capture of the day. He's very curious about the fish bait in the box. If he'll just go in a little farther. That's it. Pull. By now, the men at the field lab have probably heard us and should be coming to help. Putra and I have to work quickly to remove the nooses from the captive monitor so he won't be injured.
They've got a nice one. Not too large, but just fine for our testing purposes. First, we'll securely tape the legs and snout of the monitor, so it is safe to handle. Scratches from the claws are not as dangerous as bite wounds, but they still tend to infect rather badly and must be avoided. The biggest danger, though, lies in the deadly serrated teeth hidden in the gums. None of us care to even be barely nicked by one of them. This specimen's well secured now, and at a rough guess, he looks to be well over 5 feet long from snout to tip of tail. Dr. Offenberg and I will take him back to the field lab now, while Tom and Putra try to catch some more for us. Our trapping system has worked well today, and though we've not caught one of the really big ones yet, these are fine for tests. The first step is to take a blood sample, which Howard gets from the tip of the tail. Each slide prepared is numbered and will be microscopically studied later on. slide numbers correspond to Dr. Offenberg's numbered identification tags, which he clamps securely to the loose skin on the monitor's side. It remains as a permanent marking. The next test Howard makes is a saliva smear transferred to a slide for later study to determine why the monitor's bite is so dangerously infectious. Finally, before releasing it, Howard and Dr. Offenberg will take a measurement of the reptile down the length of the underside. What we're hoping now is that the men at the trap can nab one of the bigger lizards.
More monitors have come to our bait, and one of them is good-sized. He's wary and more interested in the fresher chunk of hanging goat meat than the bait on the ground or in the box trap. To capture him, I'll have to use a pole rope. With a Komodo dragon this large, it won't be easy. He's powerful. And if I do get this loop around him, Putra will have to help stop the monitor from charging at me. Now, and look at that dragon dig in.
That has to be a big one they've caught now. We've got to be careful with this one. We'll get his mouth taped first, since that's where the greatest danger lies. He's far from being the largest of the monitors roaming Komodo Island, but he's about as much as we can safely handle. He's a fine specimen, and now that he's well secured, let's get an idea of his size. Looks like he'll turn out to be at least a 7-footer, well deserving to be called a giant dragon of Komodo. The Komodo dragon, though undoubtedly a fearsome creature, must be protected from extinction. This monitor is important to man as a living clue to the many riddles still to be solved about dinosaurs that once roamed the earth. Present research on these giant Komodo monitors may unlock new facts about reptilian malaria and also may teach us exactly why the bite of this non-venomous lizard is so highly infectious. Komodo Island is now a reserve, and the dragons living on it are protected by law. It is good that these conservation steps have been taken. The Komodo dragon is a unique animal that may well be a vital link to man's better understanding of the past and present of the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha, the people who pay, has presented Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha, helping people find Medicare solutions for over 50 years. To learn more about plan options or how to protect your kingdom, contact us today.
Mutual of Omaha. Protect your kingdom.